Hey guys, George MGL Performance. I want to show you a little trick how I prime my engines, because when they have a saw roller cam, the small block Chevys can take a long time before the oil goes everywhere. So I put a drill like that, low speed. Got my gauge on. It has started to push some oil here. I rotate the engine so the camshaft lobes change position, so I get the oil to go everywhere. And this is a 372 cubic inch old circle track engine that I converted to pretty much like a it's called ice racing, so kind of like circle track but on the ice. Okay, it's all ready. As you can see, the oil is starting to go down. It's coming along everywhere. Oil is here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate the engine. Rotate the engine again. And yeah, maybe tomorrow is gonna be on the dyno. I'm waiting for a confirmation for the appointment. As you can see, so this is 372 cubic inch Project X ASCAS cylinder heads. I fully coated the intake manifold. It's got the old camshaft from the Circle Track 358. It's a 50 mil roller cam bearing, saw roller. It's got 10.7 compression. And yeah, let's see what it makes. All the valves are adjusted. As you can see, the oil is coming up everywhere. Here is good, here is missing. I know these engines, they always have a hard time to get the oil up. That's why I grease, I put braking lube. I'm on my push rods, but I can leave this thing go for about 10 minutes and let them prime well everywhere. After that, I have a little video flow testing the cylinder head. Is going to come up pretty soon. It's my hand ported little head hunter products for a small block Chevy. We run this on a twin turbo small block Chevy engine. It's been 456 to the 8. And we're on the rev limiter, 4.2 seconds into the run. We're at 8,300 on the rev limiter, and we still run a 56. That's pretty much it. Next video, this little motor on the engine dyno. As you can see, the oil is coming down nicely. I gotta keep on rotating. Here it's good. It still hasn't traveled over to this side. So I just gotta keep on turning the engine. You see? I started pushing more over here. But once the engine fires up, because the engine is turning RPM and all the oilings it's passing through, it's because the engine right now is stationary. So the lifter is blocking and some is letting pass, right? You have to go through the lifter board. So it takes a long time before you get the oil up on one side. Like this side is always up. On the other side it takes long. So I like to do it this way to ensure everything is gonna be good. And maybe we can do a little, the bench is cold right now. I don't even know what kind of lift I'm at. Oh. Let's give it a little. All right, so the battery had enough. We're good, we got oil everywhere. I'm good to put the valve covers on. And now here, I mean, the bench is frozen right now, so and the lift is gonna be around, I think it's around 800 or 750, something like that. Make sure we're on level 5. Everything is good. I'm not at 28 inches. Hold on. I keep on forgetting how to do this. No. Bear with me for a second. Like I said, it's been years. Now what am I doing? There you go. I'm gonna put it to 28. All right. I'm gonna do another video, but I mean, this is the numbers that I was getting. It's a 50-degree valve job, 201, 258, 299 at 500, 320 at 6, 330 at 7, 334 at 750, 337 at 800. It's just right now I was playing around and whatever, I figured I'd throw this bonus. I actually lost some flow numbers because I want this thing to turn more RPM. So as you can see, this thing is very thin for a turbo car, and believe it or not, it comes pretty much like that from Brodex. I opened it this way because you can't open more here. It's how you're gonna seal a gasket. So what I did was, back then, we milled the face of the cylinder head so that I'm able to raise the port as much as possible. I mean, up here it's thin, you know, thick enough not to break through on boost, but it's thin. This head will get completely cleaned out. This is nowhere near to, I still gotta play around with the valve job. All right, so as you can see, I had opened it here in the beginning to get the max of the roof. I had opened it here. We need more RPM, so the only way I can increase the push-rod pinch is go down. So that hurt the flow a bit, but I don't care about that because we run twin turbos on it. I just want the engine to be able to RPM at higher RPM. So I lowered it, I widened it as much as possible. I can't go any more here, it's gonna bust right through. I can't go anywhere more here, it's gonna bust right through. So you cannot get a bigger push-out pinch before you start welding the roof over here. I mean, we have to weld the whole thing over here. And then we're getting into, we don't need that. Just put a couple of extra pounds of boost, and as long as it's still happy at the higher RPM, you know what I mean? Which we're turning 82. Last year, we started hitting the rev limiter, and we need to be around 85, 87 this year. So that's what it's gonna do. George MGR Performance. This is my hand ported. It started as a CNC, hand finished. It was flowing about 10 CFM more on a Sania's bench. I just got this bench, so I don't know, maybe my bench is a little bit more conservative, this one. But, you know, I've gotten 340 on this bench, but I like to write my numbers conservative. It's 337, 38, 39, 37. I just always take the smallest number to write down. So this is nice and dandy, but it's what it does on the dyno and it's what it does down the track. This is not the means of everything. Like I said, I'd rather lose a little bit flow and have less speed in the port, so it will choke later. And I also need a more push rod. This is, you have two choke points on the cylinder head. You have the throat of the valve and you have the push rod pinch. In this case, you got a 215 valve. The valve was not the choking point. It was the oval shape of the port that was the choking point. So we'll get into that another time. I'm jumping from one thing to another. Too much. We need a good hour or so to explain a lot of things about cylinder heads, because everything gets all hyped up about, give me a second, close the heater. Everybody gets all hyped up about flow numbers, but the flow bench doesn't race down the track. It's the engine that races down the track. So sometimes losing a bit flow, the engine can make more power, and sometimes you can gain flow and the engine will lose horsepower. So as long as you got your measurements correctly, you know what you're looking to get out of something, is more important than flow numbers. But trying to explain that to people that don't do this every day and they don't have the knowledge, then they hear things from people that don't know what they're talking about, and they say, oh, but this head flows this, but it's not the means of everything. It's good, but it's not the means of everything. If you're trying to get flow numbers out of a head, you can destroy the head just to get an extra 10, 15 CFM when the head was already better when it was flowing less. That's another can of worms we'll get into another video. So hit a like, hit a subscribe. 372 cubic inch, 10.7 compression, ported intake manifold, pretty regular stuff. 516 push rods, regular rockers. I mean, there's nothing exotic. Manly 4340 crank, Manly H-beam rod, forged 2618 flat top piston. Comes out to 10.7 compression. The camshaft is a 50 mil roller cam bearing that was on the 358 circle track engine. I've given it the specs on the other video. Watch the other video, the specs are there. I don't recall by heart what the specs were. Just watch the other video and you have all the specs, all the top secret specs of circle track 358 cubic inch. To be honest, I've used those specs on so many 351 Windsor engines and all that. I was no surprise that was the specs to the camshaft, because it makes sense to be that duration and the lobe separation, all that. So put in the comments what you think this engine is going to make. We're going to try it on pump gas. We're going to try it 50-50 with C12, because my customer likes to run his stuff half-half with C12, even though this engine does not need it. And I got 2050 oils in there, 7.5 quarts of oil. So the engine is not going to get dyno tested with 0-20 oils, oxygenated fuel, putting only 4.5 liters, 5 liters inside the engine to have less drag and vacuum pump. No, it's going to be the same way it's going to get raced, this way, for durability under extreme cold conditions. So hit a like, subscribe, and maybe tomorrow we'll have the video from the dyno, maybe. George MGR Performance, thanks for watching.